The Juan Soto sweepstakes keep heating up by the day. The Yankees met with him on Monday. The Mets are a serious contender, but there's a new team with the money and the market behind them that's about to join the bidding war. So let's get you guys all caught up on all things Soto with New York Post and MLB insider John Heyman. John, what's going on, man? How you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm feeling good, man. Like, the anticipation behind this decision is as big as it was when LeBron decided to leave Cleveland to go to South Beach, man. Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner and all the big wigs of the organization met with him late Monday afternoon in SoCal. So what are you hearing about the meeting?
Well, I think it's kind of a getting acquainted meeting for all of the owners. Now, I think some people are going to say, what do you mean? Hal Steinbrenner and Juan Soto have been together for a year, but let's face it, Hal Steinbrenner is a great guy, but he's not in that clubhouse very much. It has only been 1 year. He has certainly been very close to Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole, but he hasn't had that many conversations with Soto. I think he'd met with him once before. This was their first chance to really sit down and hash things out, and for Juan to see where the organization is headed and where he might spend the next, 13 to 15 years. We'll see. But I think generally these meetings have been about ownership. Owners have come to all the meetings. Hal Steinbrenner flew across the country. I hear he was gung-ho to go, very excited. This clearly is their plan A, as it is for many other teams. And I think they're getting to know each other, and I think it was generally a very good meeting from what I hear.
All right, good news for #RepBX. You got all of the Bronx just waiting on pins and needles, hoping that he returns in pinstripes. Last month, you reported that the Dodgers had some interest in Soto as long as he reciprocated that interest. Is Soto's camp interested in taking a meeting with L.A.? Will the World Series champ get their swing at him?
Absolutely. Who wouldn't be interested in meeting with the Dodgers? They are the World Series champions, as you mentioned, Brandon, and they have so much going for them. Not only the champions, they have the best roster. They won it with 3 starting pitchers by some miracle, but they've got Glass now, Kershaw, Ohtani, hopefully fairly soon coming back to pitch, as well as Gonsolin, May, and others. So, they have a terrific roster. They have a great future. They have a terrific owner, and they certainly have the wherewithal to do it. Some people are saying, how will they have the wherewithal? They're still over $300 million. They don't have quite the revenue of the Yankees, but, they've made such good deals. Freddie Freeman was an outstanding deal for $162 million. Betts, outstanding at $200. Well, it was actually $365 million, but deferred, both heavily deferred. Nobody is as heavily deferred as Ohtani, though. $700 million, but $680 million of it deferred. So 3 outstanding deals for 3 superstars. That would be my one question with the Dodgers. They generally do not get into bidding wars. They didn't do it. And other players they were interested in, including Garrett Cole, ended up going to the Yankees for more money and no deferred money. That'd be the one question with the Dodgers. Is he willing to leave some money on the table or defer heavily to go to L.A.? But obviously it's an outstanding situation in a beautiful city. So they will get their meeting. No question about that.
Could the geography hurt the Dodgers, with Soto being from the Dominican Republic and he and his family kind of living in the Fort Lauderdale area? Is L.A. too far?
I don't think so. I've heard that narrative. I definitely heard it when he was out in San Diego, but my understanding is he loved life in San Diego. L.A. a little bit bigger than San Diego, not quite the same city, but certainly part of Southern California. And I don't necessarily go along with that. I understand, that he lives in the Dominican and in the Fort Lauderdale area, same with his parents. But I don't believe, and I've been told that geography isn't going to play a big role in this. I think that is the case. I think the biggest factors are, number one, the deal, as it is with almost all free agents. What's the deal going to be in terms of dollars, deferrals, opt-outs, all of that? And that would be my question with the Dodgers. Are they going to get into a bidding war with the Mets and the Jays and other well-heeled teams that are absolutely motivated and don't have the superstars that the Dodgers already have. Obviously, the Mets have Lindor, who's an outstanding player. The Jays have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but they don't have a trio of superstars like the Dodgers, nor were they world champions. So that would be my question about the Dodgers more than anything. Will they bid it up and pay the premium? I think that's really it for the Dodgers. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't go back to the West Coast. He was with San Diego. I think he was willing to stay long-term with San Diego. He loved the owner there, Peter Seidler. I think they were talking about a long-term deal. So I do not believe the geography will be a negative for the Dodgers.
And with the type of money that he's going to command, his parents are going to fly private, man. They're not worried about Spirit Airlines. So you mentioned how the Yankees, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, they've already met with Soto. The Dodgers have a meeting that's pending. As of now, John, who would you say has the edge in the Soto sweepstakes? And is there a number that you're hearing out in terms of what he can sign for?
Well, the number seems to be going up with all the predictions, but, I'm not going to give you any new numbers. I mean, I certainly thought it's going to be over 600. Is it going to be over 700? I think that's the question and not deferred. He's going to be the highest paid guy, and you're going to say, why? Ohtani is the greatest player maybe ever and can also pitch. It's the age factor is number one. Soto is just turned 26 years old, so he's about 4 years younger than Ohtani was as a free agent. That's a major factor. Another factor is I do believe he's willing to play anywhere, whereas Ohtani probably just wanted to go to Southern California as we look back on it, right? I think he would have gone to the Angels happily, and he certainly is happy with the Dodgers. And also he has Scott Boras as an agent. So, I think that's the reason we're looking at the record contract in terms of actual value. Don't hold me to this. If I'm going to predict today and I change every other day, I wouldn't say every day, but I would say I change every other day. I think it's going to be about the money. So the teams that are going to be able to win the bidding war are probably the teams with the biggest advantage. And I'm going to say right here that the Mets, followed by the Blue Jays, I'm going to say Mets 1, Blue Jays 2 would be my guess today. And, I get it. Yankee fans are going to be upset. He was in New York for a year, or was in New York for a year, I'll say. He is a free agent now. He did love Aaron Judge. He did love the clubhouse. He loved many things about the Yankees, and maybe he will go back. But right now, I'm putting them no better than number 3 at this moment. We shall see.
All right, there's a lot of people in Queens that's doing the Soto shuffle off of that news right now. Lastly, before we get you up out of here,
I wouldn't call that news. Let's not call that news yet, but okay.
the hypothetical, but it's still they're loving that.
Right.
They're loving that right there. All right. I don't want the people on Twitter coming after you, John. When do you think that he's going to make his decision? When do we get to put this thing to bed?
Yeah, I think it's sooner rather than later. I mean, they're having the meetings now. I don't think there were contract figures thrown around at those meetings. Those were getting acquainted meetings with owners. And, but I do think that offers will start coming in within the next week or so. And then they'll certainly have to negotiate and figure out exactly where he wants to be and what's going to happen. But I would expect that there's a good chance that he has a deal probably by the winter meetings. I mean, you kind of think they want to do it at the winter meetings, make the big splash, as they did in Dallas. I don't know, was that 24 years ago with A-Rod, same hotel, the Anatole Hotel? Maybe there's some advantage to that, but I think looking at that market, Boras has so many other players. He's got 8 out of the top 16 players on the free agent market. I think it behooves everybody, including those players, to get this done sooner rather than later. So I will not be surprised if it's done before the winter meetings, which I think begin December 9th or so. So I think we're within 3 weeks of this getting done, be my guess.
All right. Thank you, John, for the reports. You've been all over this thing, man. And when this is over, go take a vacation, man. You're the hardest working man in baseball. Appreciate it.
And maybe a shave. Yeah. Good talking to you.